What's up, Stalemates? Welcome back to another episode of this show. My name is Zach. We got Corby and Jake. No Tyler this week. We are also presented by Barbarian Apparel. Check them out. Scroll down, click the link. I got the hat. Corby's got the shirt. Go check it out. You can join us in wearing Barbarian Apparel. You can also have Barbarian Apparel help you and your team this season. So go check them out if you guys need team apparel needs, custom team apparel needs. They can take care of you. All right, last night, the All-Star Classic happened. I thought it was fun. Let's talk about the wrestling. I know people were talking about the fans and the no fans, and it might have been a little bit of boring here and there, but we're going to talk about the wrestling today. We're going to talk about the college wrestling season and how it has probably changed a little bit after last night's results. We're going to actually start with the main event, and then we're going to work our way down because I feel like those are probably the more entertaining matchups of the night. It just kind of happened that way, even though every match was, you know, high caliber guys, ranked number 1, ranked number 2, 3, 4, you name it. What did you guys think of that main event? It was a close match, but not really, in my opinion. I don't feel like Carter Starace was really ever in danger. He kind of just, it was kind of a win-win for Carter, right? Because he didn't really have to show Mekhi Lewis a whole lot of his arsenal. He was able to just kind of win on a riding time point, I believe, or maybe it was 2-0 or 1-0. I don't 2-0. So it was close score wise, but not really that competitive. What'd you guys think? Corby, I'll let you go first.
I thought Carter was impressive. You know, I think he, did make a point, to, show Mekhi, hey, I can ride you and I will ride you out. And, there were a few times there where, he could have probably just let Mekhi go, but he was trying to prove a point there. And I liked how he was, attacking the hand. I know, guys, will do that occasionally, but he was attacking the hand and kind of pulling the hand back and controlling, from the elbow down, really, really fighting, hand fighting there, pretty good on top to stay in control. And it was impressive. It looks like something that he spent time on in the off season. So, Penn State guys have been good on top in the past, and it's, hasn't been a huge emphasis of Carter's, but it looks like in the off season, it's something that he, to ride a guy like Mekhi out, it's pretty impressive. What'd you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. I think Penn State just rides hard. They really ride the ankle really well. They're all really good at hooking that, with both feet, which is something extremely impressive. I mean, they're able to ride like that's what RBY has done to Fix in the past to ride him out. They pinch that ankle with their feet, and it's extremely impressive. I think that's kind of probably going to be how this match plays out in the future as well. Both guys super stingy defensively, and I know Starace had the one committed attack of the night, but Lewis was able to defend him off with the hips, and I think in the future we're probably going to see a ride out situation that wins. And I mean, last year that's what happened, right? Starace won on riding time point as well in overtime. So I think that's kind of just going to be the trend in this matchup.
The co-main event of the evening was Austin Gomez and Sammy Sasso. I picked Austin Gomez before the show started, and then at one point in the match, I thought, you know what, I lost. I didn't think I got this right. They kind of got in that upper body position that Austin Gomez likes to get to, and Sammy Sasso looked like he had kind of been training there, and he was ready for that attack, and he kind of did, I think, what you got to do in those situations, which is be the aggressor. You don't want to be on the defensive. You want to be the hammer, not the nail. And Sammy Sasso was able to put him, down on his back. And I thought at that point it was going to be tough for Austin to come back. But something happened in that third period where I don't know. I don't know if Austin Gomez smelled blood or whatever. I didn't think that Sammy Sasso was that exhausted at that point in the match, but we also saw him fade against Caleb Henson earlier this year. I don't know if it's a weight cut thing. At this point, I'm thinking a little bit of injury, but primarily what I'm thinking is Austin Gomez is pretty dang good. And I think if you look at this match from last night and you look at what the rankings say, I think they could have not got it more wrong with keeping Yanni at number 1. Now, with that said, I'm picking Yanni to win the whole thing, but I'm talking rankings here and not predictions and this and that, right? For just rankings, I don't know how Austin Gomez cannot be ranked below Yanni after one dominating him. That match really wasn't that close, in my opinion. If you look at that match, I don't think that Gomez was really ever in a lot of danger. He he got the lead early on and never really let go. This match, he kind of the other way, right? Where he's down and then he comes back and fights all the way there. It's not a fluke. What he's doing is working. I'm not sure what changed in Austin's mentality, but I have a hard time putting him ranked below Yanni after beating Yanni and now beating Sammy Sasso. Jake, what's your opinions on this whole 149 fiasco and last night's match?
Yeah, I think 149 is going to be kind of just a weight of like matchups matter. I think, we saw Pinheiro Johnson beat Gomez earlier in the year, and I think that's more of a matchup thing than anything. I think, Pinheiro is extremely good reattacker, and, he's able to capitalize on some different shots by Gomez, and Gomez shoots shallow and comes to the body a lot. So I think if you have a guy who's really good at reattacking, boom, maybe you get a score there. But, I was extremely impressed with Gomez. I don't know what happened with Sasso. I was with you. I didn't think he was that tired, or at least he didn't look like it. But, Gomez flipped the switch. He kind of went savage mode there, and 3 takedowns in 30 seconds. I would venture to guess that Sasso has never, ever, ever in his life been taken down 3 times in 30 seconds before. So, Sasso, he looked good early and then he faded late. Maybe that's just the trend we're going to see this year. Maybe weight cut, maybe injury. I haven't really heard, but Gomez, attacked early, attacked often. I think that's something we're going to see from him. And, he's obviously made big improvements from last year and then including this year. It was extremely impressive to watch. I've always been a Gomez fan, but I'm a bigger Gomez fan now than after that match.
Man, I tell you that Sasso hit a wall. I don't know if it was weight cut. I don't know what happened, but he hit a wall there. And you could see his legs kind of go, and it was like, Gomez was drilling. He literally got up, snapped the head, shot. It was literally like drill. And then all of a sudden, after those 3, then it seemed like there was a little break there, and then Sasso was able to, catch his breath there to kind of, the last 50 seconds to a minute to kind of stay there for a little while. But, yeah, I think he hit a wall. I think it's weight cut. Go look at Sasso at 70 kilograms, 154 pounds in freestyle. He's not small. So, I think as the year goes on, I think he'll maybe figure it out. It takes a body time to adjust. We don't know where he was coming into the season, right? If he was living at 160, then I'm feeling pretty good, but by the looks of things, he probably wasn't living at 160. He was probably a little heavy. That takes the body time to adjust, down at the weight. I think maybe, another month from now, you'll see a different Sammy Sasso than we're seeing now. I think weight's probably an issue. And with that, we saw the legs go. And nothing against, listen, Austin Gomez, trained killer. There's not too many guys out there that smell blood in the water like him. And, being an Illinois guy and, watching him, grow up as a little guy and Hector train him. And a lot of people in Illinois are not surprised by this. It's just the mindset, the mentality. You hear the saying built different. And, Austin Gomez between the years when the lights are on, when the show's the biggest and brightest, he's able to perform, and he does it at a very high level when, other people, may, pucker up a little bit and, trying to catch their breath. He's ready. And so, yeah, good for Austin Gomez. And the ranking thing, I think you couldn't put him number 1 with the loss to Pinheiro and the win over Yanni. With Yanni being a 3-time champion, we can't close our eyes and forget that happened. So I think it was, you go to career there a little bit. Now with the win over Sasso, Gomez goes to number 1. That's just the way it should be. And I think that will happen. I think the rankers, as far as Flo goes and Earl goes, I think they looked at it as, with the loss to Pinheiro, we have to look at the career here, and Yanni's won 3, and for now he gets a mulligan. But now, Gomez turns around, does what he does to Sasso. I think you should probably, for now put Gomez at 1.
All right, moving right along. Keegan O'Toole versus Dean Hamidi, 7-1 victory for Keegan O'Toole. Listen, I remember when we did this prediction show, and I predicted Keegan O'Toole to win 165, which isn't a hot take, but I also said that he was going to win the Hodge. I know this match didn't matter, but it's got to be in these kind of people's heads, right? If you look at what Keegan O'Toole is doing right now. Yanni loses, so I imagine Yanni's probably not going to win the Hodge. Crazy things have happened. Don't get me wrong. There's probably some odds out there that Yanni's up there for the Hodge rankings or the Hodge watch, whatever you want to call it. But man, Keegan O'Toole is almost on another planet right now. I feel like if you look at the Dean Hamidi Carr match, I know stylistically maybe things were a little bit difficult for Carr, but this match last night was not nearly as close as the Carr Hamidi match, and I feel like O'Toole is kind of separating himself from this really deep 165, at least at this point in this season. What are your guys' thoughts on last night?
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I think, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. I think with this match, I think you're right on with O'Toole being on the Hodge watch. I just think Keegan O'Toole can score from every position. It doesn't matter, bottom, top, in on legs, guys in on his legs. I mean, he's dangerous and able to score from all those positions. Now, do I think he's 4 or 5 points better than David Carr? No. I think that's still a tight match just with David's style. But, watching David, I worry that, he's going to have a hard time scoring on Keegan. And I think Keegan's going to, like I said, he can score from every position. So it's going to be an interesting match. But, yeah, I think the only thing you can really say or take away from this match was just that, Keegan O'Toole is really, really good, and he's going to be really hard to beat this year.
I would agree. I mean, you look at, you thought maybe, hey, is Dean going to be able to bump into him, get a far ankle, knock him off his base there and be able to get a takedown in the match. And he wasn't. It looked like there was one situation there where Dean did get in deep and he elevated, looked like he was maybe going to score. And then, O'Toole gets the ankle there. They get in a scramble. O'Toole comes out with the leg and finishes. I'm with you. It looks like, O'Toole's comfortable from any position. He turns your offense into his offense. He turns his offense into your offense. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Zach. I mean, this is one of the toughest weights in the country. If he goes undefeated and goes through these guys, I mean, I think he should win the Hodge Trophy, in my opinion. The weight's really tough, and he's separating himself from these guys in a really tough weight class. And, he's fun to watch. And so, yeah, I think Carr, too, I don't know that we see a lot of points in that match. I think you see a really calculated Carr, only take shots that he feels that are, 90 to 95% chance that he can finish. Otherwise, he doesn't shoot. You don't want to get stuck under O'Toole. You definitely don't want to shoot head inside. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting match when it does happen. And right now, you got to go O'Toole, right? I mean, he's a guy at the weight, been at the weight. David's coming up to the weight. So, yeah, I mean, right now I lean O'Toole, but I think it's an exciting match. I don't think you see a lot of points scored. But, yeah, hey, let's jump to Carr Monday there. What'd you think, Zach, of Carr and the ride there in the match? What'd you think?
I don't think there's a whole lot to take away from that match just because the size difference. I would have liked to know what each guy weighed in at. I don't know if that was public or not. Corby, you probably would know that. But I don't know. I felt like Carr's length kind of gave him – he would seem like the bigger wrestler, which is interesting because I remember we talked about on the show that you guys were kind of concerned about Carr's size. But if you look at him compared to another guy that's – was 157. I know Monday originally maybe was going to go to 165, but I thought Carr looked much bigger last night, and probably because of the opponent that he wrestled. But it was another match where, kind of like the Starachi Lewis match, where I never really felt like Carr was really in that much danger. I know that it was close and it came down to a ride out, but I was happy to see him get the win, gritty win. Monday's really good, NCAA finalist, so. I thought it was good, but I don't really take much away from it. I know we probably don't have a whole lot to say about it. What do you guys think?
I just think very similar styles makes for a pretty boring match. Both guys super low, both guys great re-attackers. So, not a whole lot of committed shots where they can get scored on. It was a lot of, knee pound doubles where, you're not going to get re-attacked. So I like you, I was just like, Carr's probably going to get a ride here and, try to win there. And I think, it meant a lot to him to get that win, and he was just going to do whatever it took to win. So, I don't take a whole lot away from Carr. I don't take a whole lot away from Monday. So I just think it was a highly contested match of two guys with very similar styles, and I thought Carr was just a little bit better. So.
Yeah, it's about. I didn't see anything much different either. Carr getting the ride out, or the riding time point there. I guess I don't know. I didn't know if I really expected that, but hey, good match for him. And what about 141, man? Alirez showed me that coming in, I had Alirez. I know he's superior on his feet. He can win this weight. I got Woods. I think Woods wins the weight, but Alirez, I mean, he can win this weight. He's a guy that is better at freestyle than folk style, but I think he started to embrace the folk style, realize that, hey, listen, this is where I'm at for the next few years, and I might as well embrace this style and make the best of it. And so, yeah, he looked good there, and Matthews is going to have to find some more offense on his feet against them high level guys. But hey, last year at the tournament, Cole Matthews, I mean, he turned it up. So, come March, we'll see what happens. But right now, upside Alirez, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think same as you. I'm pretty sure both of us picked Alirez to get second to Woods in our preview. So I wasn't shocked. I picked Alirez. I think he's just got more offense. Matthews, good in scrambles, but it doesn't have a ton of leg attacks. So Alirez was somewhat calculated and got to like low ankle stuff where he's comfortable. Didn't try to come upper body where he's coming above the knee. So it was impressive to watch. I think he's a guy who could win the weight, but I guess kind of wait and see on him and Alirez. I would have, honestly, the match I really want to see now is Alirez Woods. So hopefully we get to see that at some point.
Yeah, I think for Northern Colorado, this is a huge step for these guys, right? I don't know if they've had an All-American since Justin Gaethje, something like that. Alirez has kind of been the man though for a long time for that program. And if you kind of look at last night, I think we were kind of all had question marks about Cole Matthews being number one. I know that I'm not. He should have been ranked number one, but I think we were trying to figure out just how good or not he is, and he is really good, but I just think that Alirez has way too much offense for him, and I think it was probably a bad matchup for him. But yeah, I kind of think higher of Alirez than I did earlier in the season. I'm still riding with my boy, but I thought that was probably one of my favorite matches last night, just because we answered or confirmed a lot of things that we were wondering about. I feel like, especially at this 141 weight, where we could ask 10 people and there might be 4 different champs that people might pick. So I thought it was a great match. Aaron Brooks, Parker Keckeisen, probably another one we're not going to have a lot to say. However, 12-8, that's kind of crazy that the match ended up being that score. I feel like that takedown at the end was huge for Parker's confidence going into later in the season. I don't know, has he ever taken down Aaron Brooks in the 7 times that they've wrestled? Aaron Brooks has won every single match. Has he ever gotten a takedown?
I would say no, but I don't know for sure. My gut says no.
Yeah, so I think that would be a huge boost in the confidence if you're UNI, right? You go back to the room this week and say, hey, you can do it. I know he's been in on some deep shots last year at the Rockfin event where they wrestled in the collegiate duels, but I know it wasn't really that close of a match, but that's got to be best case scenario if you're Parker Keckeisen to get that takedown at the end. Did you guys think the same?
Oh, for sure. I think that was huge for him to get that takedown at the end. Although, I mean, I know I said this last year, and I don't know if a lot of people probably didn't believe it, and maybe they still don't. But I said I thought Aaron Brooks might be the best wrestler in college last year, and man, I think he is. I think he's the best guy in college. I think when just top to bottom, obviously, we don't see Spencer a lot, right? So it's kind of hard to, throw him in there. But I think Brooks might be the best guy in college right now, and he's high level. He always adds to his game. He's hard to score on, which says how good Trent is too, right? I mean, Trent's a top 5 guy in this game right now as well. So that right there, 184, Aaron Trent, that right there this year, man, that's one of the matches that I just can't wait for. I just I just think technically they're both so good, and it's going to be a really really thin margin like we've seen in the past, and who can make the adjustment, and these two guys are guys that are, I mean, going to go down, and I mean, in my eyes, is some of the best 184s to ever do it. So I'm very interested for that one when it comes down at the end of the year. Parker getting that takedown, good for Parker. Worker, right? Nobody, I mean, hard outwork Parker Keckheisen, right? I mean, guy's the last one in the room probably every single day. So work, right? He wasn't born with a lot of these given talents. He's kind of made himself what he is, and love Parker Keckheisen. Can't say, you know, anything bad about that kid. He's amazing. He's, one of my favorites. 184, man. I mean, I'm just sitting here now talking about 184, and 184 is a loaded weight class, and I'm excited for it the rest of the year.
One thing I think that I took away from last night watching Brooks was, and I had a friend, good friend, text me this, and all he said was, first thing was, "Hey, what did that match just remind you of?" And then, I'm thinking there, and then he sends back Kale. And I think, Brooks, his movement, his collar tie to low ankle, his collar tie to inside ankle picks, like, if you want to talk about Kale Sanderson, he looked an awful lot like watching Kale wrestle college wrestling. So, that's, obviously a amazing compliment, but I think that just kind of goes to show you how good Aaron Brooks is. And, he's probably, like you said, he probably is the best college wrestler right now. I think just top to bottom, especially at a weight like 184 where you're dealing with Trent Hidley, who's like world level good. Parker Keckheisen is unbelievable. And it's just a lot deeper than maybe say a 25, at least to me. So I think if Aaron Brooks continues to like show some dominance like he has, like I would say you got to throw him into this Hodge race as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the crazy thing, not to keep talking about the rankings here, and we'll talk a little bit about pound for pound. Pound for pound, I know is probably more like personal preference than it is factual, right? Because you can't compare opponents and whatnot. But they do have Aaron Brooks ranked behind Yanni in pound for pound. I mean, that's a little crazy, right?
That'll change now, though, I would imagine.
I hope so. All right. Greg Kirkvliet was able to slay the dragon that is Tony Cassiope, beats him 8-5. Admittedly, I don't know what I was doing during this match because I can't really remember too much about it. I know that Kirkvliet looked pretty good, and he's kind of another guy for Penn State that I don't know if a lot of people picked him if you're not from Penn State to win. I mean, there's people that picked him, but I think Penn State has another guy that could be on top of the podium at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I mean, I think the thing that stood out to me the most was how big Kirkvliet looked. I thought he looked just giant compared to Cassiope. And Cassiope is not a small guy. To me, the match was a lot of, Kirkvliet able to get to legs, able to finish. He honestly almost pulled the same stunt he did last year and let Cassiope take it to overtime, which, I think in the past, Kirkvliet's kind of just made a little bit of mental errors at the end of matches. So to me, I wasn't shocked. I picked Kirkvliet to win. But, it probably was a big confidence booster for Kirkvliet because he's never beaten Cassiope in college. So I would expect him to only go up from here. And I think the match to see now is him and Mason Paris.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think, Greg, he did look good last night. I don't know, these guys at heavyweight, you take those two and you take Mason and you take Colton and throw them in a hat. And I think, depending on any given day and matchups and this and that, it's going to come down to, who's going to beat who, right? But I think you could see this result maybe change. I don't know. But I think from what I saw to Colton Schultz at the Missouri duel. The fact that he's hitting shots now and not just I mean, we know he just wasn't a Greco guy, but that's what everybody said, right? He's just a Greco guy. But we know now he's not, and he's hitting his legs. He's going behind, getting goal behinds. I mean, Colton Schultz is going to be a tough out, man. He's so good. And he's got a couple years left after this year, too. Colton Schultz still got 2 more years after this year, I believe. So, wow. So, yeah, that's what I take away from 285. And, man, then that takes us to 197. And what I come away within 10 seconds of the match, I came away with Jacob Warner wasn't focused. And the reason I came away with that was Elam hits him with a club sweep within 10 seconds. His go-to shot, everybody knows it's his go-to shot. They knew it. Everybody knew it was coming, and he still gets it really easy. Warner, to me, lack of focus. I think it took him a while to wake up in that match. And then he was, oh shit, I'm wrestling. Jacob Warner will do that sometimes. And that's what happened last night. Jacob Warner wasn't focused, in my opinion, and it cost him the match. And Rocky Elam's looked good this year. Nothing against Rocky Elam. I think he's high level. I think he's been fifth and seventh, maybe fifth and eighth, something like that. Fifth and seventh, I think fifth and seventh. But anyway, Rocky Elam's really good. I like Rocky Elam. To me, my takeaway from that match was Jake Warner was kind of not focused, a little bit of a sleep. I mean, and that right away with that club sweep, that blew me away. What did you think?
Yeah, I came away thinking the same thing. I picked Warner. I think, this is a different match at the end of the year. I think over time it's going to get closer. I think, I was impressed with Elam's ability to finish his single leg. He got extended a few different times, and Warner has, well-known heavy hips. So for him to be able to suck that leg in tells you a lot about Elam. But I think 197 is similar to, when you're talking like 141, 149, where there's just a lot of really, really high-level guys that are going to kind of cannibalize each other. And I think on any given day, it wouldn't shock me if Elam repeated this. And it wouldn't shock me if Warner goes out and beats him by 3 or 4 points the next time they wrestle. So I was impressed with Elam, not super impressed with Warner, but, Warner's shown that he has some down matches every once in a while. And Zach knows I'm a huge Warner fan. So maybe not necessarily the way he wrestles all the time, but he's a winner. And I think come the end of the season, we're going to see, a more competitive match, because in my head, Elam kind of dominated that match outside of about 30 seconds there at the end. But, I think Elam was impressive. Warner's going to get better. That's what I take away from the match.
Me with Missouri, the way I look at it is, let's be honest. We're all wrestling fans. We've been around. We watch it. They look really good sometimes in the season. Come March, they don't seem to peak. They peak before March, and it's been what can you say? The proof's in the pudding. They do kind of peak before March. I know, they've done better with it. I don't know why. I don't know if it might have been in the past that they were in the MAC and they were wrestling opponents that weren't at their level, so it made them look better than they were. So then maybe they were ranked higher than they actually should have been. Maybe it's a little bit of that. I don't know. But Missouri seems to look better early in the year than they do late in the year. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this match doesn't turn around later in the year.
Our guy Bummy's going to come for you for that, Corby. So shout out to Bummy in the chat, Mizzou guy. So
love Bummy.
Yep. All right. Moving right along here. We're going to round out. We're going to land the plane here coming up on that 30-minute mark. So
yep.
Will Luan and Bryce Andonian kind of makes me sad, because anytime Andonian wrestles a sad match, it's a sad day. And I actually texted the group chat or the Discord. I can't remember which. Shout out to the Discord, by the way. I thought that maybe 157 is going to slow down Bryce Andonian, but Corby, you seem to think it was more Will Luan's wrestling style. What do you think? Do you think Bryce Andonian can be the electric Bryce Andonian that we knew at 149 a year ago? Or do you think that maybe we see a different 157-pound version of him?
No. I think Bryce Andonian's Bryce Andonian. The problem in that match is a guy named Will Luwan. And Will Luwan can slow down anybody. He can wrestle a 3-2, 2-1 with anybody. He's done it. He's done it his whole life. He's got a really good Greco background, so he's really comfortable up there too. I picked Luwan to win this match exactly the way it went. I just have seen it too many times. I take nothing away, no stock down for Bryce Andonian whatsoever. Bryce Andonian's still going to be a honey badger. He's still going to come out. He's still going to let it fly. It's just a guy like Will Luwan, you can't do that. You can't. He doesn't give you the opportunities. He doesn't put himself out of position ever to give you the opportunity to go out and do Bryce Andonian things. So Will Luwan's really, really good. And I think, we've had guys in the past that have done similar things that weren't, Kellen Russell heard it for years, right? Oh, he didn't score a lot of points. He wasn't very offensive. Well, how many NCAA titles did he win? He don't give a shit right now. Who said that he was boring, right? So I think Will Luwan is one of those guys that, he's not going to, you're not going to, oh my God, I got to hurry up and run. Will Luwan's wrestling. That's not what's going to happen. But I guarantee you want to watch good fundamental wrestling, a kid that's always in position. You want to show your son or daughter how to wrestle the right way and always maintain position. Go watch Will Luwan.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I picked Luwan. I thought it was going to be a one takedown match. Andonian didn't put himself in a whole lot of positions to score, I think is something that I took away from the match. I think this is a different match in March. But at the same time, like Luwan just does this with everybody. So not shocked. Andonian is Andonian. He has some matches like this. I think he's also a gamer. So, when the lights are on in March, I think he's going to go out and, maybe make a few more attempts and put himself in positions. But, at this point in the season, I wasn't shocked to see Luwan beat him.
Lucas Bird versus Michael McGee, another match that I don't think I paid as much attention to as I probably should have. So 3-2 match. I feel like a lot of Lucas Bird's matches are 1-point matches. Is that just my opinion, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he holds position well. So Corby probably knows better than I do, but man, I think Bird just stays in a low stance, hard to score on. I think that takes away some offense, but Bird got an early takedown and was able to hang on.
Yeah, me too. I think Macau was not able to use his speed due to the fact that, talk about discipline, game plan, and following it to a T and never coming out of your stance, hand on the mat the whole time by Bird. You're a coach, Jake. That's not easy. You can game plan these kids. You can tell them what to do to a T. Them going out and actually doing it is something else. And Lucas Bird going out, sticking to the game plan to a T, implementing it, never differing from the game plan, 3-2 win. And, not the most exciting match, but hey, he stayed in the pocket. He kept the hand down. He knew that the way McGee was going to beat him was with speed, and he negated it. So, good job there. And I don't know if we want to talk. Do you want to talk about 25, Zach, or would you rather skip that one? Zach, you out there?
I'm frozen. I'm frozen. We're at the end of the show. No, I don't know. I said that the wildest prediction for me was that Kyson Terra was going to win this match. I think this is just kind of who Kyson Terrakina is. He's going to win some crazy matches, and he's going to lose matches. He kind of got bullied there by McKee on the edge of the mat. It was kind of just like, hey, I'm going to take you and do what I want with you, and he got stuck. That's it. The match it lasted 3 minutes and 48 seconds, so good opportunity for Iowa State to put two guys in the All-Star duel. Still got a winning record in the All-Star duel. We put online. I'm sure there was a lot of fakes and phonies out there that turned down this opportunity, but Kyson took it. So shout out to the Hawaiian Superman. That was his walkout song. I don't know. What did you guys take away from it?
I was the same as you, Corby. I don't know if you have anything different, but man, I think McKee's good. I think he's better than we give him credit for sometimes too. I know he takes some bad losses, but he's a 2-time All-American. He's not bad at wrestling. He's an underhook guy. Maybe style matchup hurt Kyson there, but I think Kyson is what Kyson is. He's athletic. He can keep, certain styles he's able to compete better against. But I think McKee's better than we think sometimes, and he's, I know everyone jokes about him being a backside warrior all the time, but he's also just really good at wrestling. So I wasn't shocked. I was shocked it was a pin, but maybe not surprised by the outcome at all.
Yeah, he is a backside warrior, but if you watch him, right, he lets it go and lets it fly all the time. And I think when the regular season, I think he feels that if he comes off the mat and didn't totally let everything fly, that he just didn't have, he didn't feel that it was a successful, match for him, regardless if he won or lost. So I think that he likes to go out there and let it fly, and he really doesn't care much. Then you lose. Then you get on the backside. Then it comes down to, hey, now I got to be a little bit more disciplined in what I do out there. And I think that, he's able to do it. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he goes into matches and that really matters to him. Some kids, in matches, like let's say he goes out and loses 4-2. I think he would rather go out and lose, obviously, 13-12 than he would, 4-2 most times, right? And he would probably take a 13-12 loss over a 4-2 win at times, because he likes to put up points and he likes to go out and let it fly. And I think he's one of those kids that, during the regular season, he doesn't really care, and he goes out and tries to hone his craft and let it go, and whatever happens, happens, right? I love that style of wrestling, man. It's so exciting for us fans, rather than, and I love Will Luwan too, but I would rather watch a Pat McKee wrestle than a Will Luwan, as probably most people would. Although I think Will Luwan's really good, and he's going to be a multiple-time All-American. It's preference, right?
Absolutely. Well, boys and girls, thanks for watching this show. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Corby. Hope you guys all have a good Thanksgiving. We're all thankful for the sport of wrestling, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.